In the weeks following the attack, Congresswoman, we talked about this, Rashida Tlaib, has been a leader in making outrageous comments about the conflict, most notably amplifying the inaccurate Hamas claim that Israel was responsible for the hospital strike in Gaza, even after it became abundantly clear that that was not the case. Most Democrats distancing themselves from Tlaib. There's a faction on the left, mostly the far left, led by her, Cori, Ilhan, Omar, who are now furious with President Biden for supporting Israel and vowing political revenge. My question is going to be, is it for real?
And so I'm telling you right now, President Biden, not all America's with you on this one. And you need to wake up and understand that. We are literally watching people commit genocide and killing a vast majority just like this. And we still stand by and say nothing. We will remember this.
We will remember this. And now she's even suggesting she sees no difference in many ways between Biden and Donald Trump.
The previous president wanted to ban us and probably put us in concentration camps. This one wants us just to die. That's how it feels. Shame on them.
Now, look, obviously her comments are, ridiculous and fringe. But if the far left abandon President Biden over this, this could be the difference, meaning they don't show up. They don't vote, period. That could be the difference in the election. And so, Scott, I'm going to throw that one back at you. Do you see any possibility of that happening?
Yeah, there's strong feelings in regard to the Congresswoman's statements, and there is a faction of the party who totally backs her. That being said, if there was an alternative candidate in this presidential race that they could go to and had a shot at winning, I would agree that that should be a problem. Muslim Americans only make up about 1%, or Arab Americans make up 1% of the voting population in this country. Biden has a story to tell of support for them and words and sending aid to Gaza for those who have been injured and by this war. And I don't think they've got anywhere to go. They're not going to the Republican Party. They're not going to Donald Trump. They may stay home, as you say.
Well, that's the question.
But we're about a year out. We're about a year out, and I think we can win.
And that's a fair point, that we're a year out. We always talk about these things as if the election is tomorrow. We are a year out, but Mick, I would think that should be a real concern for Democrats. If people like Tlaib are out there saying, we're going to remember this, we're not going to forget this, et cetera, this really could lead some people to sit it out in 2024.
Yeah, a couple of things. Let me say this first. There are fringe members of both parties, and Scott's got to deal with his Tlaib, and we've got some nut jobs in my party, so it's always a shame when you sort of have to paint with these giant brushes and paint an entire party based upon one person.
Right. Yep.
But having said that, what you heard there, that doesn't happen in a vacuum. What you're hearing from Congressman Tlaib doesn't happen in a vacuum. That is a message that's been hardwired into some Democrat progressive policies and groups for a long time now. It's the reason you're seeing what you're seeing on college campuses. It's hardwired into the faculty at a lot of schools, in a lot of these organizations, a lot of these Democrat institutions. That is mainstream. That is going to be a problem for the Democrats. But Scott's right. They're not going to vote for Donald Trump, but they may well not vote for Joe Biden. That's almost as much of a problem.
I agree. And here's Corinne Jean-Pierre really trying to address this issue head on behalf of Biden and the mainstream Democrats. This is number 7.
I've seen some of those statements this weekend, and we're going to continue to be very clear. We believe they're wrong. We believe they're repugnant, and we believe they're disgraceful.
Real quick, Scott, you wanted to follow up on the issue of a possible no-show by them on.
Yeah, the no-show would not be a mass no-show, in my opinion, but when you have large Arab American populations like in Michigan and I think Pennsylvania, a few others, where if Biden is running close to Trump or whoever the nominee is, and Arab Americans stay home, that could turn in a tight race, could turn against the Democrats in a state like Michigan, but it's a blue state, and so we just have to see how that all pans out. We're a year out, as I said, and the Dems have a story to tell to Arab Americans that are not at the emotional state right now, but from an ongoing support that they've enjoyed for several years.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.